What are some of the money mistakes you made? That's a great question. Oh, there's been lots of them. I'd say the main things is like I said, like I was talking earlier about trying to keep the buyers happy, we've made the mistake of trying to keep our workers happy, which is great to keep your workers happy. I mean, workers are number one. But we did things where we were trying to hire too many people, and we have this kind of natural lull in early August. And so what we used to do is we'd create all these projects like, okay, we'll paint the barn, and we'll replace this little shed here, and we'll build a chicken tractor, and we did all this cool stuff, but we also spent a lot of money trying to keep people on board, and some of them would have been like, fine, I'll just work less this week, and we spent thousands of dollars, being like, oh, we'll lose this good worker if we don't, keep him busy for this 1 week, and we did some pretty peripheral projects. I'd say our whole Friday Lane project, it was great, but it didn't really work out. We spent a lot of money, never made any up there. We had apples, and we put in.
What was that, Keith?
Friday Lane, up in Occidental, we had like a 10-acre piece up there, and we put in an acre or two of vegetables, and it produced horribly. And apples were horrible. The apples are great, but there just weren't many of them. And then 1 year there was nothing but problems. We used to try and grow in the winter, and we're in this cold, low spot, and we were losing money trying to grow stuff out in the winter. We have a hoop house now. We do a small amount of production there. We can sell it all through our Berkeley's Farmers Market, and that's great. But when we used to try everything we did out in the winter, it's like either the cold's going to get you because it's clear and it's not raining, and the cold's going to get you, and when it warms up because it's raining, then the rain's going to get you. And literally, we're like in a high spot in the laguna, and I mean, it's like we have like literal like shallow lakes out there in the winter. It's like we're wasting our time trying to grow in the winter, so we've just made our growing season accordingly. Do you have a bookkeeper or CPA? Yes, we have a bookkeeper. It's me. Bookkeeper would be cool, but we're a small business, and we don't really need to. CPA, absolutely. It's been really fundamental. We love our CPA. He's great. He gives us good advice. We spend about $700 a year. I saw last year is what we spent on him. It's well worth it. Trying to figure out the taxes on that would be time-consuming and difficult, and I know I would make lots of mistakes and be mad. So, and he also, figure out stuff like depreciation, which is, not the most straightforward thing in the world, and he gives us outside opinion, which is really valuable, I think, in any business.
Is he somebody? I'm sorry to interrupt, but is he somebody that is focused on farming, so
No.
he knows your stuff, or is it more just can look
No,
at
the
what
principles
they
are
know?
similar.
Okay.
There's a few things he doesn't know that maybe would help, but ultimately from his job, it's almost good to have someone that isn't farming because they see things from like I guess a real world perspective, which so his name it's BMH Accounting, if anyone's ever interested. He's great, really nice guy, Brandon. He's been real helpful. We've worked with him for 7 years now. And then gotten to some of these, I'm gonna focus here a little bit on this question. I think this is a really good one. How do you decide on pricing? It's a great question. It's really hard when you grow vegetables to do pricing because, you want to price it more to make money, right? And you don't make enough money as a farmer ever, and it's super competitive. So you want to price it high, but if you price it high, you pay the price. You got to stay competitive. So my goal is always to try and price it as high as I can at a competitive rate. Now, Paul focuses on a CSA, so he's going to have a different perspective on this for me. But we go to farm market, and we go to, we do direct to store quite a bit, and then we work with 2 wholesalers. And I'd say farm market, our prices are maybe a little on the higher end there. Berkeley Farm Market is our big market. We used to be at Marin. We dropped out of that because it wasn't going very well. It used to be going really well, and it just kind of fell apart. Farm markets have really declined in the last few years. They were very popular 5, 6, 7 years ago. They were a big fad. They're, I think pretty much universally around the Bay Area, they're down 25–30%. It's like the hardcores are still going, but the recession's made a big deal. A lot of people were, they want to go, feel good, throwing out the money, go spend $50–60 farmers market. A lot of those people are just gone. And so you got the people who are really dedicated to the food and to your farm and just love the farm market, and they're still coming. But you know, we look around. I go to farmers market and I walk around. I see what everyone's selling at. And if dry farm tomatoes, you know, we sell them at $3.50 a pound. You know, people used to complain. Well, now $3.50 a pound's kind of the going rate. You know, but if you see someone going $4 a pound, you start thinking, well, maybe it's time for me to go to $4 a pound. But if you push it to $4.25 a pound, you know, your diehard, you know, yeah, one, no one's done it yet. We haven't done it. We're still at $3.50 a pound, and that's where we've been for like 5-6 years, and it's a problem. We're not raising our prices. All our expenses are going up, and you'd find that with most farmers. You know, it's really competitive. They've let in some more growers that do, you know, dry farms, and Berkeley's a market that usually restricts people from bringing in specialty crops, you know, when there's already exists. So that's hurt us. We sell a lot less than we used to be able to. There was a point where we were selling like 250 pounds of these dry farms in a market. It was awesome. Well, now we're down to like 125 on a market, you know, and it's because there's other people there and there's less people buying them, and less people have less money. Since 2008, it has changed because of the recession. More importantly, it's really hard with stores to know how to price your stuff. And I think a lot of people underprice their stuff and a lot of people overprice their stuff. This has been really hard for me. I think I feel good that, you know, we figured it out somewhat over time, but really it's a combination. It's really getting out there as much as you can. And when I go to Whole Foods and I look at the prices and I see, like, you know, recently I saw, wow, they're selling bunches of basil for $3. Well, you know, we know that their comfort levels, they want to double our price, what we do. And they'll go a little up, a little down, you know, but we were selling it for less than $1.50 a bunch. They used to be selling it for $2 or $2.50 a bunch. So we made an adjustment in our price because they're comfortable with that level. We also have to call it, like we sell a lot to Whole Foods. We deal with each store individually, but we have to contact the CDC, Central Distribution in San Francisco, each week around this time, send them a price list. They send one back, they say what they're selling through their own system, because they kind of run their own distribution system. And then you can see, oh, I'm way high, I better adjust, because a lot of the buyers won't buy from you. Some will, because our quality is so much better. I mean, they can get it for $1.10 a pound through CDC, and it's junk. It's just complete crap, you know, and our stuff's not. So they will pay more, because it'll sell more. But some things they won't, you know, like jalapenos, you can't say, oh, we'll sell ours for $3 a pound, which I used to Whole Foods, because they can get them for $1.10 a pound, and they're not that, you know, ours aren't significant, ours are better, but, you know, on a jalapeno, ours aren't significantly better, so our price has to come down. And I'll give this one last example, and then I want to make sure Paul has some time, is that lemon cukes, you know, the lesson I learned, if you're going to play the game with wholesale and direct-to-store, is you've got to be flexible. And a lot of farmers are like, I'm not bringing my price down, it's not fair, I'm not making money, you know, it's not cool, they're a big corporation. And those are all good arguments, and I understand every one of them, but that doesn't matter if you want to sell your stuff. And we were in a position a couple years ago where our lemon cukes went nuts. And you know, you ever grow lemon cukes, they can go pretty nuts, right? And we've been growing them for a few years. Well, they went nuts. And so we had this whole market plan. I said we'd do this in the winter. You know, we're going to come up with 600 pounds. We'll peak out at 800 pounds. Well, I had a lot of thinking to do the week we had over 2,000 pounds. You know, and there's just so many. And our workers are like harvesting them all. And it's like, you know, stop. But I get pretty headstrong. Like, I don't like to throw stuff out. I don't like to give away a ton of stuff. You know, I wanted to sell it, and so I figured it out. You got to get really creative, and you got to like broaden your horizons, broaden your thinking, but you also got to lower your price. And so where we were getting like maybe $1.65 a pound from Whole Foods, and that was great. Well, there's only so much you can sell at that level, right? And that's the whole thing is, you know, do we want to sell 200 pounds and keep our price as is, or do we want to sell 1,800 pounds and, you know, maybe half the price? And if you start doing the numbers on a spreadsheet, a lot of times it's better to just sell it